so we're live. Hey, everyone. Hi, I'm Dr. Leslie Pasco, the lifestyle dentist, and I'm here with who you already know I'm always with, Sheri Jolly from Dental Support Essentials. And today we have a super special guest that I just met, but I was totally impressed with. Her name is Alyssa Ege, and she is the owner, president, and lead strategist for Sail Away Media. And I was fascinated with you, Alyssa. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I was fascinated with you.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we're sitting here together. And we have a lot of things to go over because your niche or your forte is really, this is my cat.
Oh.
This might happen. So I'm just
God,
sorry. Yeah, my office computer wasn't working. So I'm in my dining room. So I'm not isolated like I usually am. Anyway. So Alyssa, your forte, your niche is really focusing on bringing in new patients for dentists. You focus on the marketing, the external marketing strategies like social media, internet marketing, websites, landing pages, you name it, you do it. Is that right? Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, that's right. So, what we typically do is we work with dentists to build them a custom lead generation system so they can get new patients coming into their offices on tap. So there's a lot of things that go into it, and we customize everything based on the office and what their specific goals are. But it usually includes a general process of creating a custom offer for them and a landing page to go with it, and then running ads on Facebook and Instagram to get new patients in through their funnel. And then once they come in through the funnel, we nurture those leads with emails, SMS, and phone calls to convert them into lifelong patients.
Yeah, I was going to mention the funnel thing. It's really cool that you said that because I learned a lot about that a couple years ago. And this is really the way of getting people attracted to a particular business or offer or product. Is that right? Like you're taking a lot of people and you're kind of funneling them down into just the people that are interested in what you have to offer.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I always say if you just met somebody, you wouldn't get down on one knee and ask them to marry you, right? You would take them on a couple dates first. So that's what we're doing when we're funneling that traffic. We're taking all the people who have never heard of you before, never heard of your office. We're warming them up with interesting content. And then from there, we give them an offer.
I lost you there.
Why don't you come in for...
Oh, we have a little freeze. Hello.
Oh,
are you guys there?
Yeah, we're still here.
It seems you're frozen.
Well, I think she'll hop back in. I do have a quick question since we're still live and still going. About this, you said you do ads, but you also do content. So does that mean, like sometimes I notice that when offices do social media themselves, that they just have somebody who goes around looking for things to post on the office Facebook page. Do you guys create the content now, or how do you do that?
So it really depends. We usually suggest that they do it in-house because somebody needs to be in the office and like providing real footage, real content. And that usually works the best because people like to learn more about people. They don't want to see stock photos. They want to see real pictures of what's going on in the office. So we suggest typically that they do it themselves, but we guide them along the way on best practices.
Okay. Do you ever give them ideas? Like, do you help them come up with the ideas of what to post next and things like that?
Sure. Yeah. I always suggest a lot of video. Video is huge right now. And you can also take the content that you're recording or taking pictures of for your pages and use them as ads to get more new people. So I usually suggest like recording like 10 videos, but you can get them all in one sitting. So you can say things like, here's a tour of our office. That could be one video. Meet the receptionist. You're back. Great.
I'm back.
You're back.
I don't know what happened. Anyway, I changed locations and here I am.
We're talking about video content and what kind of content to post on your social media pages now.
Okay.
So I said, you can do things like meet the doctor. You can do a tour of your office. You could do patient testimonials. All that kind of stuff you can film, and then you can get pictures at the same time, and then you have content to repurpose on all different channels.
Yeah, you and I were talking about that videoing patient testimonials. Now, do you help offices with like I know for myself, I've done a lot of video, I've done TV commercials in the past, radio when it was big. You and I talked about all this stuff on your podcast, which was really awesome. So thanks for that. But do you help offices with video releases or anything like that? You know, there's media releases or something, right, that they have to sign. Do you do things like that? Do you help?
Right. So I was just telling Sheri, we don't actually come into the office and do it for them. Instead, we guide them on what kind of content to create themselves. And we give topic ideas, and then we take the content that they create and we use it as advertisements.
Oh, okay. So they pretty much do it all themselves, which is cool. And then like the media release, that does the patient have to sign anything that says that it's okay for them to put them on social media or use them in any other advertisements? Do you know?
You know, I'm not really sure what the laws are around that. I know that some doctors do make sure to get those signed and others don't. So I don't know. It's a great question.
Yeah. I think for anyone out there who's listening, I'm pretty, I mean, from the years that I've been doing this, TV and all that stuff, to use any other content, just, you know, CYA, right? I would say you can get media release forms online. You can, you know, ask a human resources department or a group. I work with Bent Erickson, which is a human resources group, and they have paperwork and things like that. So I think there might not be rules and regulations, but I think it's probably better in areas where there's not rules and regulations, just CYA anyway, right?
I think it's very important, especially when you consider that we are healthcare providers, and the wrong patient, I mean, it could be, you know, if you can't respond on social media to a review by identifying someone as a patient, you better make sure that they've signed saying that you can use their image and their voice on social media as a patient. So, I mean, just remember it that way. Like if somebody were to go on social media and say something that you wanted to reply to, when you reply, you can't really identify them as a patient. You have to give generic replies. So make sure that it's important that you get a signed thing saying that you have permission to use their image for an advertisement. And the last thing you want is a person who sends you a bill for it. So make sure it's all written down. And
especially when we're talking about influencers, which is all the rage now. So a lot of offices are reaching out to, you know, these micro or macro influencers, having them come into their office for a discounted service or free treatment, and then repurposing that content. Those people especially are going to be a little bit more concerned about their videos and their content being shared around. So
sure. Alyssa, can you define that for some of the people watching? Because like us dentists, I don't know if we know what did you say? A micro or macro, macro influencer?
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that like if I had so I have some Pittsburgh Steelers that are patients, right? So if I used one of them, what would that be? Like a macro influencer?
So it really depends, probably, but it depends on their following on social media. So what I'm seeing a lot of these trendy doctors doing lately is they're finding people that are in their community with a lot of followers on Instagram. So maybe someone that has 20,000, 30,000 followers, that person would be considered a micro influencer. Somebody, and the terminology it varies based on numbers and whatnot, but somebody with over 50 to 100,000 followers, maybe that would be defined as like a medium-sized influencer. But those people, you can, you know, trade services in order for them to post on their page and talk up the dentist, or you can provide a discount, or you could, maybe they're just a friend and maybe they're just a patient, but it's a good thing to do to get your message out for free.
Now, that brings up a good point, and thanks for clarifying that. So here's what I've heard. I've heard that the videos are gaining more attention on social media than any other kind of content. Can you talk about that a little bit? And can you also share with us, for us, you know, doctors out here and team members that aren't really astute with social media and all that stuff, can you tell us how to go about doing that?
For sure.
Get more videos with some ideas.
You made a really good point there about how videos are now being preferred over images. It's true, especially with organic reach slowly declining, which is, you know, just, I don't know if you've ever noticed, like maybe you have like 5,000 followers on your Facebook page, but when you post on there, only 3 people are reached, right? Because that's organic reach has been declining, and Facebook and Instagram want you to put a little bit of ad spend behind it to see results.
And what does that mean, ad spend? Money?
Yes.
money. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they want us to pay. So it's not free like it used to be 10 years ago or 5 years ago.
They want you to run ads and pay them to reach even your own followers. So with video, they're preferring that. Video does get a little bit more reach typically than images. And I always try to think about it about like, what is the platform's goal? So Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg's goal is to keep people on his platform as long as he can, right? So
Sure.
when people are watching videos, they're on the platform longer. So it makes sense that they would be prioritizing videos over images.
I see. I see. Okay. So what kind of, like, how easy is it to do a video? Is this complicated? Do we need, like I've done professional videos for my office, for other groups, for other organizations and things. I have lights, we have cameras, we even had the little action thing, that you do the thing for a number of takes. And that's all really cool. But do you need all that stuff? Like, what do you need to do in the dental office?
You don't. And, a lot of doctors do it. And I think it's great to have if it's in your budget, if you have that kind of budget. But I always say you can record content with your phone. These days, our phones create great videos, especially if you have one of the newer iPhones. They're fantastic cameras.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've found is that naturally, as humans, when we're scrolling through our news feeds, when something's recorded really professionally, it kind of looks like an advertisement. And when something is recorded with your phone, it looks more like a friend shared it and it draws attention more. So I've actually done a lot of testing around it, and I've found that selfie videos perform better than a professional video.
Okay, well, that's good to know. And selfie videos are free because because overhead in a dental office is high, as Sheri and I both know. And setting aside a marketing budget is important. But if you don't have to spend that much on marketing and you can still get some great results, that would be, I'd rather see our viewers spend money on services like yours who know how to get the video content out there into the public's hands and eyes, rather than all this fancy equipment. There's microphones and lights. That stuff all adds up. It's a few $1,000s for that stuff. But if you could save that and repurpose it towards your services, that would make more sense, I think.
For sure, yeah.
What is the ideal, like how often should they be posting? Is this something they should do monthly, weekly, daily? How often do you recommend?
So ideally daily be posting. Some people, they just don't have the time for it. They're not going to keep up with it. That's okay. Post at least a couple times a week. And you'll see better results that way, especially on Facebook and Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Sheri, that's a good question. And one of the people that I think of, I don't know if you guys know him or not, a lot of people do, his name's Grant Cardone. I mean, he was like, he's crazy with social media. It's probably about every 10 minutes he's got something new coming out that he's posting. And I don't know if that's too much, too little. He says no. And I say no too. I mean, it takes a lot of effort to get people's attention today, especially in the field of dentistry. There's a lot of competition, a lot of messages out there. What do you suggest, Alyssa? The daily posting is excellent. And I think if it's just a 5-minute video, I don't see, or even just a couple minutes, why that couldn't happen. Of course, that's the pot calling the kettle black for me. Yeah. But what kind of videos do you think they could post daily, or what interests the public out there that you have seen as far as dentistry goes, if we're going to post daily?
So when it comes to videos, well, first of all, you don't have to do a video every day, because that might be a little bit more work. I usually like to rotate through 3 pillars, and this works well for social media posting as well as email marketing. I do one that's a testimonial, or maybe that would be the last one in the rotation. The first one would be maybe more information, like an informational piece of content. Stuff that I've seen well is how much are dental implants, when should I get my kids' teeth cleaned for the first time? That kind of informative information. The next post you would do would be something like a testimonial. And then the next one could be a direct sale. So more direct marketing saying, hey, come in, we have this special going on, something like that. So rotate through those 3 different ideas and you'll have a ton of content to go through.
And so do you suggest those 3 things are of the similar category? So if it's about, I like the idea with the kids, because a lot of people do ask that question, when do you bring your kid to the dentist? So would you suggest the first one is informational about that subject, and the second one you said is the, what did you say the second one was?
The second one can be a testimonial.
the testimonial, then the third one's more of the product, right? So would you say they're all related together then?
Yeah, I would try to keep them related. I'm actually working right now with an office that's kind of redoing their content strategy via email and on social media. Excuse me. And they decided to come up with a topic for each month. And so we planned it out for the whole year. So one topic, maybe they'll have dental implant month when they're going to do a promotion on implants, and you don't have to offer any kind of discount. This is just what they want to do. So that whole month they're going to use that kind of content. So 1 week they're going to post, they're going to send out to their email list informational content. The next week they're going to send out to their email list a testimonial about dental implants, just like you said. And then the week after that, they'll do an offer, come in and you get this amazing discount on your implants.
I have a question about the informational content. So does it always have to be the dentist themselves talking about the subject matter, or could they use a video from another doctor or an industry leader or an expert of some sort as their content? Or does it need to be, like, if Dr. Pasco's office is doing advertisement, it's information about when do I bring my kids in, should it always be Dr. Pasco then saying you should bring your child in when they, you know, when they start to get teeth, or
yeah, I mean,
18 months old, whatever
it is. Yeah, if you want to like share content that's on somebody else's blog, that's totally fine. But I think when it comes down to it, people like to learn more about the doctor. And I've noticed that people really watch a lot of stuff, and they really scope out your website. They check your reviews. They want to get to know you. So the more you can do with the doctor on camera or in pictures, I think it really helps build that trust with the patients.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think it also helps the patients have a sense of connection. And I think it's important to do with the doctor, but I think also, Sheri, you had mentioned maybe somebody else, but I've also seen it where somebody in the office is the focus rather than the doctor. So for example, I have an assistant that's been with me for almost 6 years. She's a stable face in my practice. So she could be, you know, one of the people that could give information, and she has in the past, maybe on one of these social media things. What do you think, Alyssa?
Absolutely. I think that's great. I think as long as it's organic and it's real and people are getting to know your office, it's going to work amazingly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. Now I have a question, and I can see Sheri's probably sitting on one too. This is one of my questions now. This is a little controversial, and I hope that's okay with you.
Totally fine.
So Sheri and I go back and forth about this whole thing about dentistry becoming almost like boutique style. It's more like a shopping experience rather than going to a medical facility. And I think sometimes our patients lose track of that, and they think that they're sort of, you know, at the mall rather than at a medical facility. And so I guess what I'm saying, I guess my question is, you know, dentists really have to be on the up and up with all of this marketing, the marketing strategic plans, how to handle social media, all this work that we have to put in, but I don't see any medical facilities, medical doctors or anything like that. Maybe some plastic surgeons or something like that. Yours does? I haven't seen anything like that. I'm just wondering.
But you know what they advertise me to? They advertise is cosmetic stuff. Like they provide healthcare, but then they want to know if I want to get my varicose veins lasered off. And I'm like, well, how do you know I have those? Excuse me?
How rude.
Send me an email.
Well, now let me ask, Sheri, that's a good point though. So what happens, I mean, Alyssa, in your, this is the controversial part here, right? What happens if I send, like, can you help us filter that, Alyssa? What happens if I send an email out to somebody that says, change your smile with veneers? And yet they're like, I freaking like my smile. Why are you sending? Could it work in the opposite way? And how do you handle that?
You know, you can get really, really granular with your targeting, especially when it comes to your email list, like creating tags and whatnot. But sometimes I think it's a little bit too much work for like not enough of a reason.
Yeah. I
mean, you could go in there and tag each contact as like, this person has interest in cosmetic stuff. This person is a pediatric patient.
Yeah, that is a lot of work.
Everything, but it's a lot.
Yeah, that's too much work. So I guess probably, I mean, percentage wise, there's probably a very small percentage of the population that would get upset about something like that. And I know that when I review marketing with dentists, and maybe you find this too, Alyssa, Sheri and I both know what it's like to work with dentists, and Alyssa, now you know too. Sometimes dentists can be a little scared and sometimes downright petrified to market because they think that they're doing something wrong. They think that their colleagues are gonna get upset with them. They think that they shouldn't. Do you have any comments on that, Alyssa?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I can relate to that myself. It's scary to put out videos of yourself on the internet. You know, it's uncomfortable. But like putting yourself out there, that's how we grow. We have to get uncomfortable in order to grow as a person and to grow our business. My team always says, Alyssa, we need more videos of you. And I'm like, why do we always have to have videos of me? Like, and they're like, well, people like you on camera. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to do it. And I've been recording more and more content of myself lately. And it is uncomfortable putting that stuff out there, because everyone can see it.
How planned should it be, and how spur of the moment should it be? Because every once in a while I see like an office who will do a video where they're like doing a dance number and they're choreographed. Have you seen that they're doing a dance number? They're lip syncing to a song.
Yeah.
And then there's other offices where they're just they're kind of goofing off a little bit. Just a funny thing here or a funny thing there. Which one of those work better? Do you think that it's
Yeah, no, it's a really good question. I mean, one thing that I would say is I feel like as soon as we're doing something for a business on social media, we get really like stiff and like it needs to be rehearsed, it needs to be perfect. I need to reply in this way. And it's social media. It's the same experience as when you're on your personal account. And we don't plan stuff too much for our personal accounts. We just take a good picture and we share it. And so that's the same kind of mindset we should have behind a business account as well, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Be natural, be organic, and people will be more likely to engage with you.
So dentists, out there, do you guys hear that? Because I'm a dentist too, so I can pick on us a little bit. We're planners. I mean, we have to be. We're planning for procedures. We're thinking ahead. We're thinking in advance. We're a little more stiff because we're in a small space working. We're thinking. But what Alyssa is saying is stop thinking and just do something and just put it out there. So this isn't so dentists, when you're looking at putting yourself on social media and getting yourself noticed, this isn't something that you should plan. This is something that should be spontaneous, kind of spare the moment. It's kind of like, remember that dentist, that really super good looking hot dentist? You guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, see, they're nodding. They're nodding.
You know how many of my non-dental friends sent me that video?
Yeah. So, right. And look at that guy, Constantine, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Which, Constantine, if you're watching this or anybody who knows Constantine, we'd love to invite you on to one of our talks. That would be great. But why not? But that was I assume to a certain degree it was spontaneous. Obviously the guy knows what he's doing when he dances. It's not like he had to rehearse that at all. So, that was a spontaneous thing. And look at how much attention that got. He was on the Ellen show.
Yes.
So I think spontaneity is really, what I'm hearing Alyssa say, is really what's attractive in marketing. Would that be right?
For sure. And I think it comes back to mindset. Like I always bring it back to mindset because we get scared to put stuff out there. We think it's not perfect. I need to perfect this. I say, go with it and then let the data do the talking. So from there, you can look at the statistics on your page and you can say, wow, this kind of video got us a lot of engagement, got us a lot of likes, comments, shares. Now we can plan to do stuff similar. But in the beginning, it's kind of just put yourself out there, figure out what works, and don't be afraid to experiment.
Is there anything that they should just absolutely not do?
I can't think of anything unless it's like something really crazy.
Like inappropriate.
Nothing like that. Nothing too crazy, but I use your common sense. What do your patients want to see?
I think, I think there's a common thread here. And I think, I've hired a media company that does like training on how to be in front of a camera, that kind of stuff or whatever. And one of the common threads I'm getting from what they said, from what you said, kind of from my experience in doing this as well, is you just kind of got to roll with it. And then you've got to kind of tweak it along the way and learn from mistakes that you've made, what works, what doesn't, and what's going to engage and what doesn't. And one of the things that I was told that works really well is you got to talk to your audience like as if you're talking to them, like you and you should, and what happens if you do this, or have you ever asked yourself this question? You want to, which I understand is hard because you're looking at a camera or a little green light on your phone or your computer. And, you know, it's hard to talk to that little green light, but that's what you have to do. You have to use that little camera as a person and really get your message out. And I think one of the most important coaching sessions I ever had, because I don't like being on camera. I know maybe some people won't believe that or whatever, but I really don't. I don't like my picture taken. I don't like being on camera or anything like that. But the thing that really got me able to be seen online and things like that was the coach had said to me, do you have a message that you feel is important to share with other people? That's what social media is for. Because I've kind of been anti-social media because people put stupid crap up there that no one needs to know about. And so I've shied away from it. And I kind of didn't consider using social media to put forth a very important message.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point.
Yeah, well, thanks. It helped me out a lot. It helped. So, Alyssa, what kind of, and I hope that helps a lot of people out there too. I mean, dentistry is important. We're saving people's lives. I know that, you know, Alyssa, I don't know, and you're working with dentists and in the type of campaigns that they have, but my firm solid belief in my core tells me that as a dentist, I help people live longer. I help save their lives. I change, and I've changed hundreds, maybe thousands of people's viewpoints of dentistry. I've changed their lives through enhancing their smiles. I've increased their ability to get a better paying job because they're more confident about themselves. Like you guys know me by now. I stand on my soapbox and I say this, like we dentists make a difference. And these are the kind of messages that we have to get out. It's not always just about implants and dentures. And, you know, it's really about what dentistry is. And I do believe dentistry is medicine.
Yeah. And I mean, even when it does come to implants, like we're literally changing people's lives by changing their smile and increasing their confidence, helping them get out of the house. I've read messages from people that message the office that we're doing, you know, promotions for or whatnot. And like, they just like make my heart melt because they're like, I never thought that I could find a doctor that I could trust, but I finally found you. And like, they wouldn't have found that unless they came through social media. So it does, it really changes lives.
Yeah, when it's used in the right manner, social media can really be a mega influencer.
Yeah.
You like that? I made it up myself. That's good. So Alyssa, you know, before we wrap up, Sheri, do you have any other questions for Alyssa?
Well, I would just say, do you encourage your doctors to brief the whole team? Do you just have one person on the team? Because the thing that's in my head, I've seen it happen before. An advertisement is run, but the person answering the phone didn't know about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
acted like the deer in the headlights when the phone rang. So I was just wondering, like, how do you have weekly meetings, or what do you recommend for this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we keep everybody in the loop constantly about what's going on. And I actually get really hands-on. I'm usually like calling the doctor's front office and I'm like, hey, I just want to let you know that this is what's happening and let me know, here's my cell phone number, how it's going. Because I hate when that happens, when people are not on the same page, it doesn't do well. So yeah, we keep people really updated. We encourage that all the staff knows what's going on, you know, have an entire staff marketing meeting, talk about what's going on, and just keep everybody in the loop.
Yeah, that's a good point because it really takes everybody working together to make something happen. And marketing can be expensive depending on what direction you're going, and you want to make sure that you're getting the most return on your investment. So I think that's really important. So Alyssa, you know, what I'm getting from what we're talking about today is, first of all, you should have some type of marketing strategy, and you should have people on your side who know what they're doing, like a professional marketing strategist such as yourself, to guide them through the strategically planning their marketing for their dental office. And they should at least be doing something maybe one time a week, but one time a day, some type of post one time a day, and following those 3 pillars of putting forth first some type of information, then a testimonial, and then, you know, the actual product that you're offering. Having some type of system to how you're doing that is really important. And then I think secondly, what we learned was don't be shy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable, just like you said, but don't be shy. Just get out there, do it. You'll get better and better. And then last, what Sheri brought up, and Alyssa, I think that's a great strategy to have marketing meetings. I mean, what dental office has marketing meetings? I mean, that's a brilliant strategy.
My dad's does because I make him.
Well, that's good. He's a good student. And you're a good daughter. So have marketing meetings and promote to the team everything that's going on so that everybody knows what's going on. So Alyssa, obviously you know what you're doing and you can do this really well. And I know that you get results for your clients and your clients are really happy. So if someone's interested in your services or wants to get to know more about what you're doing, can you tell us where they can find you and how they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, thank you so much. So I have a group on Facebook that's called Dental Marketing Secrets. If you join the group, you can comment any questions that you have, and I'm happy to jump in there and answer, and you can network with some other dentists on what they're doing. And if you want help from me directly, you can go to sailawaymedia.com, and my email's on there.
Awesome. That's awesome. Well, I'm sure some people are going to be following in here with you because you obviously know what you're doing, and having someone on our side like you is really going to make a difference on making sure that we have good marketing strategies. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. And it was really a pleasure again to talk with you. And you were so helpful. And I know that there's so many people out there right now that have gained so much information from what you had to say. So thank you so much.
You're so welcome. Thank you so much for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to connecting with you more and maybe even possibly having doing more things together. That would be fantastic.
For sure.
Yeah. And then, you know, later on, we're actually going to have, I think it's on, is it Friday, Sheri? We're going to have Randy Roberts, who's the singing dentist. If you haven't seen his video yet, look it up. He does a whole version of Hello from Adele. Have you seen it yet, Alyssa?
Yeah, that's awesome. You know, I just gave a presentation the other day at the Miami Dental Association, and we showed his video to open up our thing. We said, this is what you guys have to do. And everyone was like, no.
No. Yeah, his is really to the extreme. And obviously he's a good producer. I mean, his resume he has a production company there. So he's good at that, which is fantastic. But I'm really interested to hear what he has to say because, guys, we're going to be talking about different viewpoints, the dentist viewpoint versus the patient's viewpoint. And I was really impressed with that video because, of course, Alyssa from the marketing side, but my side from the dentist, to be able to express how patients are feeling, but also how the dentist is feeling and how we can actually apply that philosophy in our practice. So make sure you guys join us. I think it's 2:00 on Friday. Is it not?
I'll be there.
Okay, good.
I believe it is.
I'm dying to talk to this guy. He's got to be a hoot, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys. It was great talking with you.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
next time.
See
Bye.
ya. Bye.